Sri Ahobalam Mutt was founded in the 14th century by Sri Adiban Shatopa Yatindra of Tirunarayanapuram in Karnataka. At a young age, he had a vision of Narasimha, which led him to the hilltop temple of Sri Ahobalam. When he crossed the terrifying forest and reached the Sanctum Sanctorum, the Lord commanded him to spread the Sri Ramanuja Darshana, initiated him to the Sannyasa Ashrama, and gave him the Utsava idol of Malola Narasimha for daily worship. This Malola has been the presiding deity of the Mutt for the last 6 centuries. Sri Shatagopa's piety, scholarship, practical bent of mind, and spiritual aura brought him thousands of disciples. Among them was Tallapaka Annamacharya, who has composed a kriti eulogizing his Acharya. Karunanidhiki, Rangapatiki, Kanchi Varanaku, Venkatagiripatiki, Niratin Ahobala Nrikesarikini, Tatparudagu Shatagopa Muni Itadu. Envision the Lord of Sannyasins, for whom Hari is the friendly shade, a sterling devotee of Ranganatha of Srirangam, Varadaraja of Kanchi, Venkateshwara of Tirumala, and Nrisimha of Ahobila. He is the sage Shatagopa blessed. The Ahobalam Mutt has a peerless heritage of succession. The presiding Jiyars have combined spiritual ministry with other allied activities that have brought renown to the institution. Most of the Jiyars have been well-known authors. The 7th Jiyar wrote the drama Vasantika Parinayam, which retells the legend of Sri Ahobila Narasimha marrying the tribal maid Chenchulakshmi. The 27th Jiyar was an expert in logic. The 34th Jiyar's works includes Kavi Hridaya Ranjani. The 44th Jiyar renovated the Prahlada Vardhan Sannidhi at Ahobalam and was instrumental in building the Rajagopura of Srirangam temple. All the Jiyars were erudite in expounding Sri Ramanuja Darshana and in widening the parameters of the Mutt activities, renovating temples, encouraging publications, and keeping the Mutt's disciples bound in fraternal unity. The present Jiyar, within less than a decade of his stewardship of the Mutt, has achieved work of almost titanic proportions. Foremost is the manner in which he has inculcated a deeper involvement in Archa worship by himself showing the way. The manner in which he performs Tiruvaradhanam to Malola is inspiring. Apart from conducting the rituals of worship himself, he gets the onlookers to sing or recite songs and stotras to further deepen the devotional atmosphere. He brings the same attention to detail when dealing with the enormous work of managing the Mutt's properties and finances. The Ahobalam temple complex has been receiving the Jiyar's prime consideration. A flight of steps has been laid to reach the Bhairava Kundam in Ahobalam. The Pushkarini of Prahlada Vardhan Sannidhi has been completely renovated. A new chariot also has been made for the temple. A convenient road has been laid to reach the Sannidhi of Chatravata Narasimhan. Efforts are on to make all the temples of Ahobalam easily accessible for pilgrims so that they can imbibe the devotional atmosphere in the soulful region that is rich with nature's bounty. Anganyala manjangoralariya unan pongaham balluhiral poinda punithanidam Paingan aanai kombu kondu pattimayaladikkil Shangan aali ittiranjum Shingavel Gundrame. Ahobalam is famous in Puranic literature as well as history. Endowed with nature's grandeur in terms of hills, forests, streams and waterfalls, Ahobalam has been immortalized as Shingavel Kundram by Thirumangai Alvar in his Periya Tirumozhi. Aho Viryam, Aho Shauryam, Aho Bahu Parakramaha, Narasimham Param Devam, Ahobalam, Ahobalam. The holy pilgrim spot is variously termed as Ahobalam and Ahobalam. Once upon a time, Garuda aspired to have a vision of the Lord. Finding this area of Nalamalai hills ideal for meditation, he performed intense tapasya on a hill. Pleased with Garuda, the Lord appeared here in a cave and also showed his 8 other forms of Narasimha. The gods who watched Narasimha on the hill exclaimed at the power and glory of the vision, Ahobalam. Since the Lord appeared self-formed in a cave, Swayam Vyakta, it is equally appropriate to use the term Ahobalam. This temple is the foundational source of the Sri Ahobalam Mutt that has been engaged in religious and spiritual ministry for the last 600 years. The undulating Nallamalai hills that stretch from Kurnool to Chittoor is considered to be an incarnation of Adishesha by the Puranas. Tirupati is spoken of as the crown, Ahobalam as the middle, and Srishailam as the tail end of Adishesha. Garudachalam, Vedachalam and Achalachaya Meru are the three hills in Ahobalam. Garudachalam or Garudadri is the hill where Garuda performed tapasya. It was on Vedachalam that the Vedas underwent tapasya to gain the Lord's guardianship. In between the two, we see the hill called Achalachaya Meru. Ahobalam's pristine history is brought to us through myths, legends, history and epigraphy. The Cholas, Chalukyas, the rulers of Vijayanagar, the Reddis of Kondavidu and Rajamandri, as well as innumerable devotees have served the temple down the centuries. Every one of the pontiffs of Sri Ahobalam Mutt has disseminated its glory to the widespread Vaishnava community through the last 600 years. Right now, the present pontiff has undertaken works in a very big way to improve the amenities for pilgrims and repair and rebuild the structures of the various temples in Ahobalam. That way, he seems to be rewriting Tirumangai Alvar's words, making Ahobalam one of the temples that can be accessed comfortably henceforth. Come, let us join the devout pilgrims to worship the far-famed Ahobalam temple complex. Bhavanashini. The main water source for Ahobalam is Bhavanashini. The temple of Jwala Narasimhan is at the center of Achalachaya Meru hill. It was here the gods invited the heavenly Ganges, Akasha Ganga, to come down and calm the Lord, who was in unquenchable fury after the destruction of Hiranyakashipu. Akasha Ganga stream that bathed the Lord rushed forth as Bhavanashini towards the west. On the banks of Bhavanashini, Rishi Kalava performed intense tapasya and gained siddhi. Bathing in the river assures one of release from sins committed in earlier births and also to chase away the sorrows one is shackled with in this life. There are 13 ghats on the banks of Bhavanashini. They are Nrisimha Tirtham, Rama Tirtham, Lakshmana Tirtham, Bhima Tirtham, Shanka Tirtham, Varaha Tirtham, Sudarshana Tirtham, Suta Tirtham, Tara Tirtham, Gajakunda Tirtham, Bhairava Tirtham, Vainayaka Tirtham and Rakta Kunda. Jaya and Vijaya, who were the doorkeepers of the Lord's heavenly abode, were once cursed by the sages Sanaka and Sanandana. Hence they were born as the titans Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu on earth. After putting an end to Hiranyaksha through his incarnation as the divine boar, Varaha, the Lord incarnated in Ahobalam as Narasimha to destroy Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu hated the very name of Narayana, while his son Prahlada was a devotee of the Lord. Hiranyakashipu tried in vain to change Prahlada's mind. Failing in his attempts, he punished his son in a cruel manner. Yet, there was no change. One day, at the height of fury, Hiranyakashipu pointed to a pillar near him and asked Prahlada whether the all-pervading Lord dwelt within this Thamba. Prahlada replied that the Lord was the indwelling universal of all creation. The Lord is the source of strength for everyone, including Hiranyakashipu. He is the controller of all beings from Brahma to a blade of grass. He is time who controls the past, the present and the future. Incensed, Hiranyakashipu struck at the pillar with a sword and immediately the pillar clove into two. Out emerged the terribility of the Narasimha incarnation, a man-lion with burning eyes brilliant like molten gold, the face encircled by awesome locks and mane. Pratapta chami karachandalochanam spuratsatake sarajumbitananam karala damshram karavala sajvala kshuranta jihpam brukuti mukholpanam. Such is the holy Ahobalam that was the stage of the powerful Narasimha incarnation of undying fame. Lower Ahobalam. As we look at the temple that has a gracious Rajagopuram and 3 prakaras, we are confronted first by the victory pillar, Jayastambam. Ahobalam was laid waste by Islamic invaders in the 16th century. For 7 years, the prosperous pilgrim center was ransacked by the bloodthirsty marauders. The 11th pontiff of the Ahobalam went to Penugonda and described to the king the manner in which the temple complex was devastated by the invaders and still continued to be under foreign control. Immediately, King Rangaraya sent his officers Tirumalaraju and Venkatraju with the necessary muscle power to Ahobalam. The two officers waged a fierce battle and expelled the invaders. The pontiff set up a victory pillar in 1584 and had it inscribed with matter describing the victory over the enemy. We enter through the Rajagopuram path and come upon the Mahamandapam with hundreds of sculpted pillars. Here the Moolavar is Narasimhan. The Utsavar deity is Prahlada Varada. Once the Kakatiya king Prataparudra attempted to cast a Shivalinga in gold. However, the resulting image turned out to be that of Lakshmi Narasimha. The king surrendered the image to the pontiff of the Sri Ahobalam. The deity is being worshipped by the successive Jiyars till today. There is a Sannidhi to Nammalvar on the banks of Alvar Koneri in this temple. Apart from the Narasimha image in this lower Ahobalam temple, there are 9 images of Narasimha in the Ahobalam complex, hailed as follows: Jwala Ahobila Malola Kroda Karancha Bhargava Yogananda Chatravata Pavana Navamurtaya. Jwala Narasimha. The temple to Jwala Narasimha is situated at the center of Achalachaya Meru between Garudadri and Vedadri. When the Lord destroyed Hiranyakashipu in great fury, he washed his hands in the pond nearby. Even today, the pond is russet-colored. However, if you scoop the water in your palm, the water is crystalline. The image of Jwala Narasimha has 10 hands. Hiranya is on his lap and is being torn by the sharp nails of the Lord. There are other awe-inspiring images in the temple. One has Hiranya trying to defend himself with a sword while being chased by Narasimha. Another shows the Lord assuring guardianship to Prahlada. Yet another has the Lord with his consort, Chenchulakshmi. Sri Ahobila Narasimhan. We now move towards Sri Ahobila Narasimhan's temple in Upper Ahobalam. On the way there is the Mandapam, where the founder of the Sri Ahobalam Mutt, Srimad Adivan Shatopa Yatindra Mahadeshikan, used to be engaged in religious practices. It is a thrilling sight to watch the Bhavanashini river leaping down from the mountain top. As we cross the river, we see a Mandapam. During the annual Brahmotsavam, the Lord comes here daily accompanied by goddess Chenchulakshmi. This temple is the main shrine of Ahobalam. A lovely Gopuram welcomes us. We worship Narasimha, the Swayam Yakta Murti, in the sanctum which is a cave. This is the holy place where Garuda had been engaged in tapasya. Tradition avers that Brahma and other heavenly denizens come here daily for worshipping the Lord. There is a Sannidhi for Chenchulakshmi and a huge mandapam within the temple. There is a cave in which Rama and Lakshmana bring Shiva. Another image is of Ugra Narasimha offering guardianship to Shiva. One of the caves in the temple is closed. It is said that during the Islamic invasion, the 6th pontiff of the Ahobalam Mutt sealed himself in this cave along with the Utsava idol of Ahobila Narasimha. The cave has not been opened since. Malola Narasimhan. In Upper Ahobila, there is a big temple to the soul-entrancing image of Malola Narasimha. Ma signifies Lakshmi. We walk on the banks of Bhavanashini, go up a considerable number of steps to reach the temple. Mukhamandapam, Ardhamandapam, Manimandapam, and then to the Sanctum Sanctorum. In this place where Lakshmi's consort resides is an atmosphere of Ananda. Here where nature is beautiful, spreading a great calm, one can sit and meditate peacefully upon Narasimha Mahamantra. Such devotees will gain all their wishes. It is the Utsava idol of this Malola Narasimha who spontaneously placed himself on the lap of a young brahmacharin Srinivasan who had come here from Tirunarayanapuram. This brahmacharin was the founder of the Ahobalam Mutt and became a legend in his lifetime as Srimad Adivan Shatagopa Yatindra Mahadeshikan. Kroda Varaha Narasimha. Narasimha is seen in the form of the divine boar in this Sannidhi. Close by is another image of Lakshmi Narasimha. It is an unusual sight to have darshan of Varaha with the earth goddess and Narasimha with the wealth goddess in the same sanctum. Both the incarnations belong to the same yuga. Karanjana Narasimha. On the banks of streaming Bhavanashini, in the middle of a dense forest, Narasimha is seen seated under the Karanja tree, carrying the Saranga bow and the discus. The temple is associated with a famous legend. There was a sage called Gopila who was cursed by Durvasa that he would lose all his knowledge. The sage was saddened and came to this place to engage himself in reciting the Sri Nrisimha Anushtup Mahamantra, known popularly as the Mantra Raja. The Lord was pleased, appeared to the sage, and gifted him with all knowledge. It is certain that whoever performs japa of the Sri Nrisimha Mahamantra in this holy spot will be gifted with good intelligence. As if to assure us that it is indeed so, close by there is a temple to Hanuman, who is famous as Buddhimatam Vaishnav. Bhargava Narsimha. 2 kilometers away from Lower Ahobalam is the holy Bhargava Tirtham, whose water tastes extremely sweet. On the banks of this water source is the lovely little fane of Bhargava Narsimha. This lord is also known as Barkoti Swami. Bhargava Rama performed a yajna in this place and worshipped Narsimha. Lord Narsimha's upper hands hold the conch and the discus, while the lower hands tear Hiranya to pieces. Yoga Narsimha. To the southeast of Lower Ahobalam, at a distance of 2 kilometers, we have darshan of the south-facing Yoga Narsimha. He sits bound by Yoga Patta and holds the conch and the discus. This is the area where Narsimha personally taught Prahlada the postures of yoga. Chatravata Narsimha. Within a kilometer of Lower Ahobalam, we are able to worship Narsimha seated in Padmasana. He is verily a vision of all auspicious qualities. His presence assures us of safety. This lord was worshipped by Indra and other gods in the days of yore. There is a Mukhamandapam raised on 6 pillars in this temple. Pavana Narsimha. To the south of Garudadri, right on the banks of Bhavanashini, we have the temple consecrated to Pavana Narsimha. We have to go up 500 steps from Lower Ahobalam and then trek 5 kilometers on rough terrain to come to the temple. Once we reach the place, we are in a place where Mother Nature is holding her gorgeous court. It is greenery everywhere, and a variety of bird songs lift our soul heavenwards. Beneath a 7-hooded cobra, the Lord is seated, holding Chanchulakshmi close to him with his left hand, his right hand signifying guardianship. An image that betokens an auspicious life for the devotees. Nearby are images of baby Krishna, and Krishna is the flute player of Vrindavan. Prahlada Varadan. The temple of Prahlada Varadan in Lower Ahobalam is verily the regal court of Visishtadvaita. Vedic recitations as well as recitations of Nalayira Divya Prabandham resound in the temple environs, while archanas and aradhanas go on with gaiety as well as solemnity. It has been the experience of devotees who have made a total surrender to the Lord that Prahlada Varadan with his consort Amritavalli Thayar answered their prayers without fail. Prahlada Varadan appears standing on the Adisesha seat with Lakshmi. It is a sight for gods. Tradition avers that Venkateshwara, after his marriage with Padmavati, came here to meet Narsimha. There is a shrine to Venkateshwara in the temple. Apart from shrines to Amritavalli Thayar and Andal, there are also fanes for the Alvars and Acharyas. Daily there are ritual programs like Tirupalli Ezhi, and Ekanta Seva. The Lord has a mirror room for special darshan, and Sri Adivan Shatagopa Yatindra Mahadeshikan's image may be seen here in a posture of total devotion.
मन्यं विष ईळते मानुषेर्या पाहिना मन्यो तपसा सजोषाः अवेहि मन्यो तपसस्तवेः तपसा युजाविजाहिनम्.
The Navaratri festival in Ahobalam is always celebrated with great enthusiasm. On Dashami day, special worship is offered to the Vanni tree. The Chenchus, who form the tribal population of Ahobalam hills, take part in the festivities with great joy, bringing their bows and arrows for display. Pavitrodsavam is performed annually to cleanse the temple of impurities accrued due to a lack of care or devotion. Sankranti celebrations are justly famous. Since a good road has been laid from Arlagadda to Ahobalam, travel has become easy. The way is bordered on both sides by paddy fields and sunflower plantations. Care has been taken to provide amenities for performing mundan ceremonies, ritual bath, etc. in the temple environs. Our pilgrimage, which began with the victory pillar in Lower Ahobalam, has had darshan of Jwala Narsimha radiating fury, Ugra Narsimha who appeared to Garuda in a vision, Malola Narsimha, who is the founding power of Sri Ahobalam Mutt, Kroda Narsimha, who saved Mother Earth from the fangs of Hiranyaksha, Karanja Narsimha, who appears with the Sharanga bow, Bhargava Narsimha, who was worshipped by Parashurama, Yogananda Narsimha, who taught the path of yoga to Prahlada, Chatravata Narsimha, who is the very image of peace, and Pavana Narsimha, who resides in a thick forest with Chenchu Lakshmi. Having worshipped these images of Narasimha, we complete our holy trek by going round the Ugra Stamba in Upper Ahobalam, the very same pillar which was cleft into two when the Lord appeared from it as the man-lion. Apart from the devout, those with artistic inclinations have a great treat in these temples. Look at this Natya Mandapam. How elegant are the sculptures of dancers. Each pillar has a sculpted relief, Toranas, Kumbhas, and images of royal army like Ratha, Gaja, Turaga, and Patati. One can notice that sculptor's art has literally breathed life into inanimate stone. Why need we speak of men being attracted to Ahobalam? Even gods have been drawn to this glorious spot on earth. The Sesha Dharma of Harivamsham says that Rama, the peerless son of the race of Raghu, had come here and worshipped Lord Narasimha. Rama's prayers spell out a list of all that Narasimha can give us, including a knowledge of Vedas, Shastras, scholarship, fame, intelligence, and riches. We shall also repeat the prayer and bow in surrender to Sri Ahobalam Narasimha. Vedan samastan karshastra garbhan vidyambalam kirtimatim cha lakshmim yasya prasadat purusha labhante tam narasimham sharanam gatosmi.